Hey everybody, my name is Asia and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for July through September. I just wanted to do this video very informally. Don't really know that much about these books, so I have my Goodreads up here so I could talk through these books with you guys, and these ones are just ones that I find really interesting and would like to have. I'll probably put the pictures up here on this side. So the first book that I have is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power, which comes out July 7th. And I read Wilder Girls last year and I really enjoyed it, and I want to see what else Rory Power is going to write. And so this says it's a new twisty thriller about a girl whose past has always been a mystery until she decides to return to her mother's hometown, where history has a tendency to repeat itself. So I really like thrillers. I do really like horror, but I felt like Wilder Girls wasn't really too... It was more like gore to me than horror. Like, I wasn't really scared or anything like that. And I've actually met Rory Power and she is so lovely, so I'm really excited for this new release. The next one that I have is The Shadows by Alex North, which also comes out July 7th, and this is a new thriller. Alex North wrote The Whisper Man, which I haven't read yet, but I've heard really good things about, and I don't know how, but I got an ARC of this on NetGalley. I don't know why they would approve me, and one person that I follow, her name's Karen. I don't think she's on BookTube or anything, I just found her a while ago, and she tends to get a lot of ARCs and things like that. She reviewed it and she gave it 5 stars, so that makes me really excited to read this book. The main character is quite morally gray, and that's all I really know, but I'm excited. I don't really like to know that much about thrillers or really any book. I just like to know like a general feeling towards them. The next book that I have is Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay, and I haven't read a Paul Tremblay book, but I really want to read The Cabin at the End of the World because I've heard good things about it from Gabby Reads and Kayla from Books and Lala. I know this takes place in Massachusetts, and I think it's more horror than it is thriller, and it kind of has to do with like zombies and like saliva and infection and things like that. So not the best thing to be coming out in 2020, but I want to see his take on zombies. So the next book also comes out July 7th, and that is The Princess Will Save You by Sarah Henning. Sarah Henning wrote Sea Witch, which I haven't read yet, but that one really interests me as well because I like mermaids, witchy kind of books. But this one I'm super excited about because obviously This Princess Will Save You has to do with the princess saving a stable boy. I'm super excited, and I think this is going to be really feminist. The cover is absolutely stunning, and I think this is going to be like a really good fantasy. The next one that I have for July is Loveless by Alice Oseman, and this comes out July 9th, and this is a YA contemporary, and I believe it has an asexual or aromantic character. I think they're asexual. I really love that because we need more representation, especially for asexual and aromantic characters, since they're not really prevalent in literature. I just read the 3 volumes of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, and I really love the characters, so I think this one's also going to have really amazing characters. I want to get more into Alice Oseman's work, so I'm excited to see what this one's all about. The next book I have in July comes out July 21st, and that is He Started It by Samantha Downing, and I've heard like okay things about this book, but I read My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing last year, and I really love that, so I'm excited to see. I keep saying that I'm excited to see, but like obviously these are anticipated for a reason, but I want to see like what else Samantha is going to write. And this is a thriller mystery. So Gabby from Gabby Reads read it in March, and she rated it 4 stars, but she said it's closer to a 4.5. And then Kat from Kat Chats rated it 3 stars. Karen also rated it, and she rated it 4 stars. So it's like a 4 stars average, which I think is good. I know this has to do with like a cross-country road trip. I like thrillers and I want to get more into them, so hopefully this one will be a good one. The next one that I have comes out July 28th, and that is Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. And the reason that I heard about this was because there was this book, I forget what it was, but it was like this thriller that was supposed to be like you have to get your kid back, you have to kidnap somebody else's kid, and then like the chain keeps going. And I heard it was kind of like lackluster, and everybody's been hearing about this and is hoping that this is going to do what they wanted the other book to do. And the last book I have for July is The Mall by Megan McCarthy. So this is about a mall during summer, and it follows different people. It takes place in the 90s, and it's very like 90s nostalgia, and I really love the 80s and 90s. Like, I love the fashion, I love the pop culture, so I'm excited to read this and get more of that nostalgia. So for August, I only have 3 books. So the first one that I have is Six Angry Girls by Adrienne Kisner, and this book comes out August 18th. I don't know if I already said that, but it has to do with mock trial, which I love because I love trials. I love mock trials because I want to go into law. I've already mentioned that before. And so I know this has to do with a mock trial team, and it's feminist, and I think it has like a lot of queer rep, and I'm super excited to see the diversity in this book. So the next book is The Notorious Virtues by Alwyn Hamilton, which comes out August 18th. I own one book by Alwyn Hamilton, but I haven't read it yet. But it says, a glamorous media darling, a surprise heiress, and the magical competition of a lifetime. I really want to read more like competitions and magical competitions specifically because I've seemed to really like them. So I'm excited to see this take on one, and hopefully I'll like that aspect of this book a lot. So the last book that I have for August is Cloud in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar. I can't say that last name, but it comes out August 25th, and this book just kind of seems like a classic horror movie in a novel, like a cheesy horror movie in a novel form. Nobody that I know has read it yet, but I'm excited to see what this book is about because, like, I know it has murderous clowns and apparently it has snarky teens. So, and apparently it's kind of like a slasher horror movie. So I think this book is going to be, if you combine the slasher factor of Halloween with the snarky characters of It and the clowns of It with Children of the Corn, like that's kind of like the atmosphere. I'm super excited to see all the horror and gore in this. My battery's running low, but I have a lot of books for September, so hopefully I can run through this quickly. So the first book that I have for September comes out September 1st, and this is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. The cover is stunning. I know this has to do with a summoned ghost that the person can't get rid of, and it has to do with a Latin ex-family. I know this is queer. It has gender identity and relating that to like a family that's not accepting of it. I'm excited to have a combination of queer with like paranormal. That's not something that I see very often, and that's like one of my favorite things is queer combined with paranormal elements, so I'm really excited for this. The next book that I have is Majesty by Katharine McGee, which is the second book in the American Royal series. This also comes out September 1st. I love the first book, which is about this alternate universe where instead of George Washington becoming president, he became like the monarch, a king. So it follows like current day, like what would that look like, and it follows 3 siblings. I'm really excited to continue on with the second book. The next book that I have is Fable by Adrienne Young, but this book says, welcome to a world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it, where a young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive in a world built for men. So I think it's going to be feminist and it's fantasy. It has to do with the sea and the ocean. I love like pirate mermaid books. This is also going to be part of a duology, and we need more YA fantasy duologies because I tend to love them. So I'm excited to have a new duology to dive into. The next book that I have is Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin, which comes out September 1st. This book is the second book in the Serpent and Dove series. I loved Serpent and Dove last year. I know not a lot of people, like a lot of people loved it and a lot of people hated it. It's very conflicting, but I really want to continue on in this series, and it kind of left off on a cliffhanger, so I want to see what else is going to happen and like the fallout of everything that happened in the first book. And it's packed with even steamier romance and darker magic, so I'm super excited for an even darker atmosphere than the first one, and hopefully we'll get more French influence. So the next book that I have is Charming as a Verb by Ben Philippe, which comes out September 8th, and this is a romance, and I know it has to do with first generation Haitians in America based off like the cover. It looks like they're in New York City, and I know it has to do with like prestigious schools. I really like a private school element. I really like that element in Tweet Cute, so I'm hoping I'm gonna like that in this as well, and that also is in New York City, so I think I'm really gonna like this one because I really enjoyed Tweet Cute. It seems quite similar but with more diversity, so I think this is gonna be really, really good. The next book that I have comes out September 8th, and that is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, and Everybody Loves Bear Town by Frederick Bachman, so hopefully I'll be able to read that in the next couple months. And so I want to just see more of his work, which is what has been happening with a lot of people where I hear good things about them, so I'm anticipating their new book. So the description says, a bank robber on the run locks himself in with an over-enthusiastic estate agent, 2 bitter IKEA addicts, a pregnant woman, a suicidal multimillionaire, and a rabbit. In the end, the robber gives up and lets everyone go, but when the police storm the apartment, it's empty. The next book that I have also comes out September 8th, and that is One by One by Ruth Ware, and I want to get more into her work. I also own The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware, and I want to get more into her work, but it says it's another suspenseful thriller set on a snow-covered mountain. I really like the snow aspect in No Exit and how it caused them to be like locked in and they couldn't tell anybody what was going on, and I think it's a very realistic way to add complication. I think this is probably going to do something similar, and I think that atmosphere Ruth Ware is going to do really well because I think she does atmosphere really well. So the next book also comes out September 8th, and that is The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I read These Broken Stars by this author duo before. It was a long time ago, like around when it first came out, probably like 3-4 years ago at this point, but I did really like it, so I'm want to see what else they're gonna write. And I love Amy Kaufman in the Illuminae File series, so hopefully this book is going to be good. It's another fantasy. It says Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner prove they are two living goddesses of writing, creating two compelling worlds with high stakes and gripping emotions. I think I can really trust this duo to come out with an excellent book. Next book comes out September 22nd, and that is Vampires Never Get Old, Tales with Fresh Bite. This is by a lot of authors, and it's a short story collection about vampires, and vampires are starting to come back more into literature, and I think that they're going to do it better this time than they did last time. It's going to be a lot better than the Twilight era. It has like Donnell Clayton, Marco Shio, Julie Murphy, Tessa Gratton, and like those are some of the authors that I've read or heard of before, so I think this collection is going to be really good, and I'm excited to get more vampire content. So the next book that I have comes out on September 29th, and that is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. She wrote Uprooted, which I haven't read, but this one takes place at a magical school, which I love, so I think just like the school atmosphere has always been one that I love, even though like, why? Because like I go to school all the time. Well, not anymore because of COVID. Like, I've never been like, oh yeah, like I love going to school. Like, that's just not a thing. But I really love school settings, so I think this one's gonna be really good, and everybody really likes Naomi Novik's writing, so I think this one's gonna be a good one. So the last one that I have to round out September is Sky Hunter by Marie Lu, which comes out September 29th. And I read a couple of Marie Lu's books. I read Legend by her a few years ago, and I enjoyed that one. I think this one's gonna be a similar kind of setting. So this one is, it says it's a novel laced with adrenaline and filled with non-stop action, and Marie Lu creates an immersive world broken by war where the only hope against overwhelming evil lies within a team of young warriors willing to sacrifice everything to save what they love. So I think this one's gonna be like really heartwarming but really action-packed, so I'm really excited to read more like action-packed science fiction and fantasy novels, which this one is going to be, and I like seeing the aftermath of war in books. So I know this wasn't the most formal thing, and I don't know a ton about each of these books, but I wanted to talk about the books that I'm anticipating with you guys. That's all that I have for this video today. I'd love to talk to you guys down in the comments below, or you guys can talk to me on Twitter or Instagram. I'll have all that linked in the description box, and make sure while you're in the description box to look at all the links that I'm going to have down there for the Black Lives Matter movement and ways to diversify your subscription box. But that is it for now, guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!